So the article that I reviewed is called Intimate Partner Violence Against Disabled Persons, Clinical and Health Impact Intersections, Issues, and Intervention Strategies. It notes IPV as a major global health issue, and it discusses negative health impacts of IPV, including anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, self-harm, stress, PTSD, panic attacks, insomnia, poor self-esteem, guilt, and shame. And it goes into the barriers in reporting, including physical barriers for women with disabilities, and as well as communication barriers for women who are hard of hearing, deaf individuals, and this goes for minority women as well, not being able to make an in-depth report, having access to translators, and not being able to make that report using their preferred method of communication. More barriers would include some women with cognitive disabilities may lack education, specifically on sexual abuse, and some women may have normalized this behavior, and or some may feel like guilty or shamed, and the law enforcement may not have information and knowledge on IPV and how to handle these situations, specifically in situations of disability regarding neglect and abuse. And then let's go into interventions on harm reduction, education, self-efficacy, empowerment, and overall it noted economic strength as a significant factor in decreasing and preventing IPV. And now we're going to go into the safety planning for Miss Marjorie. We went really in depth to it, so I'm just going to try to cover the highlights, and hopefully you guys can get a chance to go over the actual slides that shows all the questions we asked. There's so much more information. We just tried to pick out what we could find that was most important. So we asked Miss Marjorie about what makes her feel safe. She feels safe around her cat, her animals, being safe at home, having access to everything that she needs for her disability. And she said Kathy sometimes makes her feel safe, but recently it's not felt so safe around her. She feels safe around her children, but is still scared of what her children would think about her relationship with another woman, because she is not out yet to her family. We asked about how the abuse happens, when it happens, like what triggers she gets. She explained that usually it happens at home. Usually Kathy is very nice and seems like she really takes care of her when they're out in public, so everything seems normal to her family. But behind closed doors they get a bit stir crazy, usually after day 3, and she'll start Kathy will start neglecting her, giving her the silent treatment, just being really short and exploding, and just making her feel like a burden overall, and not giving her medication, so her pain gets out of control. So she has reached out to her neighbors. I believe Susan and Jeanette has been a good support system for her, and she feels like she can talk to them. They know about the relationship, and they're also a good safety net. If she ever feels unsafe, she feels like she can go over there in a pinch if she needs to. Of course, the wheelchair is an obstacle for her in removing herself from a situation quickly, but she also has their phone numbers, and she can call over if she ever feels unsafe, and they also are aware of the situation in case they see something that gets out of hand, an explosive situation, they can always call the police and take action to make sure that Marjorie is safe. We talked about safety when leaving. She says she's not really sure about leaving. She's aware that it's an option. She is scared of leaving because she's scared of losing her, her support and a person that was very close to her. It's very confusing that Kathy has turned on her at this time, and she's scared of losing her support to take care of her with her disability, and she is scared of having to start over at such an old age. Excuse me. They have a joint bank account, and then they each have their own bank account. So that's another thing we discussed, was maybe potentially taking some money out slowly at a time, just stacking up money in case she did need to leave the relationship. She has an extensive list of her medications and has talked to her doctor about the abuse before, so that is a strength for her. And she also has copies of birth certificates and a safety deposit box in case she has to leave in an emergency. We also gave her an extensive list of all the documents, tax documents, social security card, title to vehicle, home title, etc. So she's been equipped with that. And then when we discussed safety and technology, she had no concerns because all of her devices are password protected, and she wanted to keep a copy of her safety plan on a Google Doc. That way she does not have to worry about having a physical copy that could be lost or that Kathy could find and use that against her. So, yeah, it's really hard to sum all of this up. We touched on safety and emotional health for her. We discussed safety, orders of protection, safety in public, so she can, get to a safe place, and really thought about those situations, looked at exits and any potential weapons in the house, only including kitchen knives. So yeah, extremely extensive list, but for the concern of time, that is what I will go over today. If you have any questions, please ask Bree or Tamaya. I really wish I could be there, but due to an emergency situation, I could not be there. So thank you so much for listening.